Is Lyle here today?
No. He's got family.
Did you hear David's schedule on Saturday? I think we're going to Tulameen.
Different one. This one's like not working.
Take golfers
Or a
to the
screwdriver.
golf course,
Yeah, they screwed.
go back, pick up at Kennedy Lake, take them to the rodeo, then go get, anyway, at one point, take the pick up the golfers, take them back, take the Kennedy Lake people back, and then at 11 o'clock at night, take the Tulameen people that drove there. Because I asked, well, why don't you ride the bus in and back? Never got back to me, so they drove their cars in, I guess, and then he gave them a ride back.
I'm going to see.
Hey, we need an invoice for him, for the,
Call the meeting to order. I would acknowledge that Smoking Valley, which we were organized as the ancestral traditional owned and territorial Smoking people, and home of the Upper Smoking Indian Band. Before we adopt the agenda, I want to add one new item to 11.1, which is a letter to the province. This is because of the fire on the weekend. And I believe you all have a draft copy of that. With that, can I get an adoption of the agenda?
As amended?
It wasn't amended because we haven't adopted it. I'm
Okay.
changing it now, so it's adopted with the things.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Councillor
Second.
Willis, Councillor Gould. All in favor? Carried. We have no minutes and no delegations, so that takes us down to the annual report, and that is James. James?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for council's consideration this morning is the 2025 annual report. It consists of various reports and presentations to the public. We have reports from the mayor, the chief administrative officer. We have departmental reports from several directors and managers. Part of the audited financial statements are incorporated as part of it. There's statutory requirements as to any notices of disqualification. There are reports on permissive tax exemptions, reports on development cost charges as required by the Local Government Act. Our annual report this year is 78 pages long. It has some optional things as well, some stats on the town, how we're doing financially and how we're doing population-wise and assessment-wise, some financial metrics in there. So, report that's required by legislation. We are required to get it out 2 weeks before its deadline of June 30th, hence why we asked for a special meeting today. Right now, we're just asking the council receives the report. The report gets made available to the public, and in 2 weeks' time, or June 30th, as we have scheduled now, so 15 days from now, any reports we get from the public will be considered by mayor and council, and then the annual report can be adopted before June 30th. So I ask that council receives the report. Ask that council direct staff to make the annual report available for public inspection, and that council will consider the annual report and receive submissions and questions from the public and adopt the report on the June 30th special meeting. Thank you.
Questions? Yep. Go for it.
Do you want a motion first before questions? Or do you-
No, you can ask questions, and then if
Okay.
you want to make a motion, you can make a motion as well. But if you have questions that are not to the motion, then this is
Okay.
the time to ask those
So
questions.
I just had submitted some, due to the timing of this meeting, it needed to be published on Friday, but I wasn't able to actually do a full read-through. I did forward some amendments, just some typos and clarification to,
Spelling?
yeah, to James, and I made copies this morning for him, so you will make those amendments before I publish?
Yeah, they're not substantive, they're just spelling mistakes. So.
Okay. So you can put those together and then put that out as the,
Yeah.
And then just corrections on the portfolios too, clarifications, because there was some that were assigned to me that aren't my responsibility. So I will make a motion with those amendments to
Okay.
be made.
it's moved, seconded. So moved by Councillor Gould, seconded by Councillor McLean. Any questions on the motion? I will call the question then. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Go down to council reports. So this is where I'm going to talk about this, and then we'll bring it up in new minutes or new items. So on Saturday we had another fire. This time in town boundaries, but on in Crown land, down by the was it Waterfront? Yeah, down by Waterfront. The fire department responded and put the fire out. So this is the second fire in 1 week. The other fire was across the river outside of our jurisdiction, but our fire department did respond as we have an agreement with the regional district to respond in that area. So we have been working for over a year now, trying to get the province to come to the table and help out with the encampments in town. We keep getting passed on to the next ministry, to the next ministry, to the next ministry, and nobody seems to have any responsibility for the encampments on Crown land. So we've tried to work with housing and everybody else, and it's been a rough road trying to get any response from the provincial authorities who are responsible for everything. As everybody, as council knows, we're not responsible for healthcare, we're not responsible for addictions, we're not responsible for Crown land, and they keep trying to pass the buck back to the municipality. This isn't unique to just us. If you look at the encampment in Penticton, it's on highways right away, which is Crown land. This has been ongoing now for a long time there. The province is looking for an injunction against the camp. Kelowna is another, perfect example where they've been dealing with this for a long time as well. So we're not alone in this. It's just we've gotten to a point now where the problem has exceeded the capacity of the community. So I've drafted a letter that I'll read in new business, and we can discuss it there. But I see Ed is here, so thanks, Ed. But it's taxing our system, and it's taxing our ability to continue. The nonprofits that have been trying to support with little grants here and there are, they're at capacity, and there's no, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel at this time. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now. Yep.
I realize this is a general problem all the way around the province. My concern is the area that we have paved and made for a trail for people to use to exercise, for kids to play on, for everything else, is being exposed to these people who, for the most part, have drug problems. As far as I'm concerned, what are we going to do? Are we going to wait until something happens as a result of this exposure to these people, and then we dig in and try and find some kind of solution? Or, I wish I had the solution, but folks, this is not good.
The community's been trying. They've been trying really hard. I give credit where credit's due, and our nonprofits have been working tirelessly to try to deal with these problems. Our RCMP have been, handcuffed, for lack of a better term, by provincial regulations, provincial, policy, right? Like we just came out of decriminalization. During that period, there was nothing you could do. Even now, it's still a little bit gray zone as to what is and what isn't completely allowed. You have to be in violation of a criminal code act to be able to to be arrested. We don't have the mental health supports here. We don't have the addiction supports here. We've been fighting for that. We had a facility that was a drop-in here in town before COVID. We had a hard time getting that reopened. It used to be across the street, and then they moved it over to where the around the corner was the restaurant, the old gas station there. They had an office there, but then the doors were always closed, and they couldn't get staff because they bring staff from other municipalities to come and work in our community, because that's the way Interior Health operates, is through this centralized model. So we might get somebody from Kelowna or Penticton or Oliver, and it's raining or it's snowing, and they don't show up for work. And then COVID came, and then they used that as a reason to close it all down permanently. We fought for a couple of years to get supports back in the community, because they wanted you to go and make a online appointment to get drug and alcohol supports and mental health supports, and that doesn't work. So Princeton Family Services has done an amazing job at trying to support where they can support. But like I said, it's a $500 grant from here, and it's a $1,000 grant from there, and the program never has any real consistency, because they don't know if they have funding next week. And when we try to talk to the province, they the ministries who are responsible just kind of glaze over and just ignore us. So that's why I wrote this letter that's before you guys today. I hope you all had a chance to read it. But we're at a point now where if they don't step in, and I think we've exhausted all of our options with trying to work collaboratively with them. I think it's time that we just say enough is enough. It's the same thing, but it's different. I mean, you look at all the derelicts that are on the highway that they won't clean up, that are their responsibility. It's just an ongoing thing right now with the province, that every ministry is just cutting back, and nothing's getting done. And they're expecting local government to just do their job for them, and that's got to stop. We don't have the resources. They refuse to resource us with the adequate funding, authority, or even personnel to do the job. So enough's enough, and I think we've been trying to work within their system. It's time to stop.
Even the larger cities with the support, though, right? They have the support centers and the groups and stuff, and they have the same problems. It's like, obviously there's no answer right now. It's like,
No.
Everyone's been looking for it for how long?
Yeah, but the least they can do is clean up camps, right? Like, that is completely in their jurisdiction to clean it up. It's illegal dumping, it's unsightly, there's environmental hazards, there's, you name it. A couple of us went down to the river and cleaned up all the stuff that was on the riverbank before it flooded, because it was all going to go down the river. Why was that our responsibility to do that, right? That is right in their mandate, is to keep the foreshore clean and deal with that stuff, but they wouldn't, right? So, and Penticton and I'll just use Penticton as an example. Penticton, it looks like they're homeless, unhoused, however you want to frame it, is a larger problem than it is here, and it's not. We have over 30 people on the streets here. We have 3,000-ish people in town. It's 1% of our population. Penticton doesn't even meet or come up to 1% of their total population that's unhoused. Yet they get all the focus. They get all of it because they're a big center and they have the supports in place, because that's where they've centralized it. They took it away from us when they decentralized our hospital, and they put it over there. We lost those support networks, and they never bothered to bring it back here. So they expect people to leave here and go over there, and then we get dumped on by the residents in Penticton, because the homeless people from Princeton are going over there because that's where they have to go to get their support, whether it's medical or mental health or addictions or whatever. And then they end up on the street there because there's no way for them to come home. And it's time is enough. I'm done with it. I'm done with rural BC getting dumped on, and it's time we stand up to them. So.
Do they have any authority to be able to go into the camps looking for needles and drugs and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and the RCMP do walk-arounds within their capacity. You know, they look for you know, stolen properties and whatnot. Being a drug addict is not illegal, so you can't deal with, they can't do that. We don't have people to deal with it. I mean, if you look at the pictures from the fire, I mean, they had sharps containers and they had all their sharps pretty much contained in their containers. But that's the extent of what's possible locally because there is nobody to do it. But the ministries have this responsibility. Lands and Water has a responsibility on their property. The Ministry of Environment has a responsibility to our waterways. The Premier and the Deputy Premier, who's also the Attorney General, have a responsibility to this province. And so does the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General, who is responsible for policing in this province. They are responsible. Ministry of Forest also has a responsibility because they're the ones who have the natural resource officers who are responsible for the enforcement on Crown land. So they need to just do their job.
I'm sorry, but I've reached a point where I don't think I would have rushed to put out that fire.
Well, we had to, or the neighborhood would have burned down. It was in the trees. The trees were on fire. Like, it's gotten to a point now where people's, you know, anyways. Yep.
So we've had a few years of this, and I know at first it was like at least the volunteer groups were able to kind of, they knew where they all were and they were able to make sure that they were, for the most part, safe. But now we've got multiple camps in the community.
We've had for this entire period of time.
Yeah, the thought originally, or the talk, the feedback to us from you, and because you're on multiple chairs that kind of try to deal with it, was that at least you kind of know where they are so that they're kind of staying contained. Like, at least they're not kind of just popping up multiple places. It seems like it's more where we can see it, so it seems like it's more prevalent. It's getting closer to residential properties, which is what happened with this fire, but it's also not unique to Princeton. So being that we're part of SILGA, would it be prudent to also send this to SILGA so that you can
Yeah, we
get,
have a meeting on Friday. I can take it to them.
so that you can also get the support of other municipalities? So maybe they'll send letters like this to the province as well,
Yep. Yep, we can do that.
and trying to invoke more change. Thank you.
Yep. We can add that to the letter, Carrie. Okay. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll go down to 11.1, which is a motion to allow me to send this letter. Thank you, Councillor Gould. Willis, any other questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And with that, we adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Gould, McLean, all in favor? Carried. We are closed. Thank you.
Thank you.